Hello Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to your June reading. My name is Alyssa. This is my channel of New Direction. So this is a reading for June, and it's a little late, but I wasn't feeling well earlier in the month, so it kind of set everything back. But anyway, here we are now. So I've already pulled oracle cards, and we're just going to dive right on into it, okay? Some housekeeping things. I'm outside. My dogs are out here. My horses are in the background. They might wander in and out. So I do apologize if there's any interruptions. I cuss a little bit, so if that's a really big one for you, then there's your warning. All right, let's get into this. We're working with a new deck this week, and it's called the LQ deck, the She Who deck. And the card that you pulled for this was She Who Rises Up, Pearl. Empowerment, uplift, elevate. Pearl. Isn't she something? And I'm gonna read this from the book. Like the incandescent gems she weaves into her hair, oh my gosh. Pearl, she who rises up, has been shaped by her experiences and has evolved into a great being of strength and beauty. She is who she is because of all of her trials and her challenges. She wears a badge of honor tattooed on her back. The mythical bird of the fire, the phoenix, circles her back and her arms, to remind her that rising from the ashes is something she knows how to do. Her focus is determined. She can see her clear, steady gaze Can you see her clear and steady gaze looking at you? She has risen up and is now a beacon, ready to help others. The message of this card is that you will have all the power you need to rise yourself up to the next level. Some of that strength may come to you from others who want to help you. Look at those around you to find the tribe members who want to lift you up rather than press you down. This card represents a clear-eyed friend who only wants the best for you. Elevate your own soul by remembering the empowerment that comes from within. But the little boost from a friend never hurts. Fierce and wild, remember the phoenix when you see Pearl. Rise up to greet any challenge presented to you. You are an elevated soul, ready to supercharge your life. This card reminds you to lift your head with pride so you can see the way to your amazing future. Isn't that something? And on the bottom of that deck was She Who Changes, Iris. And she is all about trusting within the moon cycles. Trusting, see this serpent here? Iris is about trusting in the process of shedding the old to make way for the new, make way for the change. Like the moon, you know, cycles completed. Iris is all about change, all about, you know, elevation and moving forward. And Pearl is all that too, right? Pearl is that change within us. Now, the overall energies that I pulled from the Energy Oracle deck, this is kind of the overall theme for the month. And that was, the first one that came out was the yin and the yang, and it came up the inside first. So that's talking about your intuition. That's talking about going forward and really following that inner calling. And hostilities was behind that. It's trusting that through whatever kind of challenging, hostile defenses that you might be facing, you know, whether it's in this month or it's in the month to come, you know, there's a lot of retrogrades going on right now, like a ton, right? Mercury starts its retrograde Thursday, I think, on the 18th, right? And that goes right into the middle of July. You know, right now, Venus actually ends its retrograde, I think, next week. But like there's 5 planets right now in retrograde, okay guys? So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of hostilities. There's a lot of just uncertainty at this time. But this is trusting your intuition, trusting that inner knowing, trusting and knowing that no matter what is to come, you are moving forward. And the card at the very bottom of that deck was the Healer of Ages. That's a divine, okay? Whatever that is to you, you know, I'm not here to preach a religious preach. I am here to, you know, simply encourage on a spiritual path. But whatever your divine is, you know, your higher, this is the base of this card. This is the underlying first card, okay? And the woman holding a heart was behind that. Okay, there, trust this divine. Give your heart and your love to the divine. You know, trust the knowing that is within inside your soul to face whatever hostilities or whatever kind of situations, you know, you may be facing this month. You know, do not allow yourself to become defensive, okay? Allow yourself to be open. Being vulnerable is tough, but it is life-changing. The spirit animal card that you pulled was the moss spirit. Surrender now. And I'm going to read this one to you too. And it's long, but it was important to read. And moss spirits, pay attention to the moss. You know, I mean, I know they're crazy, you know, and they often dive bomb you when you least when you least expect it. But pay attention to those signs. Pay attention to what's going through your mind before a moth kind of, dive bombs you. And then, you know, maybe there's certain times where you're like, wow, those are signs, okay? The moss spirit, surrender now. Moss spirit asks, what is guiding you right now? Are you in alignment with spirit or pursuing something or someone with so much tenacity that has become consuming or an addiction? Are you intoxicated by a potential relationship or an opportunity that you can't think straight? Work hard. Hard work and dedication are virtues, and love, of course, is a beautiful thing. However, when moss spirit arrives, it is time to consider that you have gone over the edge in a relentless pursuit. Workaholism, overeating, perfectionism, and addiction to certainty, or addiction to certainty, or even to a person may be your current vice. The form of your addiction does not matter so much as the awareness to the consequences of remaining persistent when moderation is needed. Let go of your excessive energy by channeling it in more than one direction. The fire burns hot, and you do not want to be engulfed by your passion to the exclusion of all other pursuits that matter to you. Now is a time for surrender and radical acceptance so that your drive does not cause you to flee or fight. Spirit wants you to realize that your need for certainty and control Spirit wants you to release your need for certainty and control so that you can relax into a more balanced way of using your moss spirit energy. Banish the shoulds and the musts so that you can enjoy what is as you allow for what might be. Surrender now. And at the bottom of that deck was the swan spirit, and the swan spirit is a time to dive deep. And that's talking about going beneath the surface level, you know, really going just beneath the surface level feelings, you know, and truly diving down into the depths of, you know, of your soul, of your path, of your purpose. The angel card you pulled was prioritize. Focus on your highest priorities, and I will help you organize and get motivated, okay? In creative writing, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal, pen an article or a book. And oftentimes, it's funny that creative writing was on the first one on the bottom, because in this energy it went the healer of ages, and then this woman holding a heart and strategy. And strategy is very much like creative writing. It's talking about journaling is a very strong kind of, it's affirming. It's how you take the things that are in your mind and you put them down on paper, okay? You solidify them, you make them 3D, okay? And that is important. And I cannot emphasize that enough, you know, and that includes journaling the things that you want in your life. Maybe it's making vision boards, but it's journaling about the things you want short term, long term. It's the things that you want to become as a person, the human being you want to embrace, okay? All of that stuff needs to be journaled, because when you put that stuff on paper, you are actually putting it down in a 3D form and saying, this is mine. I want to own this, you know? You're making it real. All right, let's get into the lights here. So the first line of cards we're going to pull are your strengths. You know, what are the strengths of the Aquarius for this month? Knight of Cups. An opportunity coming in. It could be, you know, a new love opportunity. Ooh, very much could be a new love opportunity, because the Lovers just came out behind that. And then the King of Swords. So it's funny that moth spirit was talking about surrendering now, and, you know, in that pursuit of, you know, maybe that relationship, you know, and that kind of like overdrive to that relationship. And your strengths here was the Knight of Cups, the Lovers, and the King of Swords. Who this is a very masculine. The King of Swords is the King of Air, and Aquarius, you are an air sign. So this is a very much masculine, you know, very much your masculine kind of clarity, okay? But as a strength here, it's understanding. See how this, the way I'm really feeling it, it's trusting it. It's knowing it. It's knowing that you do not necessarily have to pursue insanely or you know, to the point that you're driving yourself crazy, you know, that you need to know. It's trusting. Your strength here is trusting that this opportunity, this love is here, okay? It's trusting in the duality. It's trusting in this equal kind of balance of this Lover's card. It's the clarity. It's the clarity of knowing that it will just be. You know, allowing things to just unfold for what they are. That's a must, right? That's a must. Don't be pursuing, you know, situations or people or relationships, obviously, that make you feel anything other than pearl, right? She rises up from the ashes. She changes the things in her life here. And there is change. You know, Iris is on the bottom of that deck. She who changes, right? There's change. There's change here, but that change comes from you knowing and understanding and fully just accepting that what must be will be. Okay? If you allow it to be. Your challenges and your struggles was the Ace of Wands and the Hermit. And that is, you know, as a challenge when, again, that Moss spirit, you know, the challenge is believing that this will be. The challenge is believing in this new beginning. The challenge is in believing in this whole new passionate way forward and that it will be just for what it is. The challenge is here within this Ace of Wands and this Hermit, because this is hard. This is hard to go back. This is hard to sit in the quiet space and center in on just you and spirit. It is hard to connect to this divine sometimes. It is hard to put faith in something that you can't see. I understand that. But that's what faith is all about. And that's what this is saying here. It's saying, do you trust? Do you trust the divine enough to put this whole situation just over in the divine's hands and be like, I trust that it'll be what it needs to be. And what it is will be what is best for me in the end. Because I don't really see much, I see things working very much to the way you want them, but in order for that to happen, you must release. You know, you must release your hold on it. And I see that being a challenge here. I see that whole idea of, okay, well, how do I just release this? How is that possibly going to happen? But I'm telling you it will. You need to connect here. And I know it's a challenge. Is there another challenge here, Spirit? The High Priestess. Yes, absolutely. It's a challenge to have this much faith. It's a challenge to be able to sit in the quietness of the hermit space so that you can hear and see through the veil. Absolutely. This is a very challenging line. Okay? If your foundation here, if your rock that you're sitting on, you know, is not a solid rock in some sort of higher divine kind of faith, it's hard to sit. It's hard to be able to see between the veil. It's hard to just have faith that there is goodness and there's hope coming. It's very hard. That's a hard place to be. What are the steps to move forward through this? Spirit, what are the steps for the Aquarius to move forward through this? The Knight of Wands. You must embrace it. You must embrace your true authenticity. Because by embracing it, this is a divine change. This is an alignment within your life that is shifting. You see, and when you embrace this Knight of Wands here, when you embrace who you truly are and the spark and the fire that burns within inside of you, when you just allow things and trust things to be what they are, when you say, okay, you know what? I don't need to pursue that. You know, maybe it's you trying to prove to somebody that you're worthy of something. But within that, you are selling yourself short. You're sacrificing your peace, your self-dignity. But the steps to move forward here, the steps to align yourself to higher intentions here, they start with accepting your light and trusting that your light will divinely guide you. Trusting that this alignment, this movement here within your life, it has purpose, it has reason. Okay? The Ten of Pentacles was behind that. There's so much fulfillment, lifetime fulfillment, for years, for family. You know, this is maturity. Okay? But it starts here. It starts with embracing your fire. it starts with embracing and accepting and knowing, right? Knowing that this Ace of Wands, this Hermit, and this High Priestess, though they may be challenging, they are doable. Though they may be challenging, they are the parts of your life that are going to change your world, that are going to really set shift to this. Because when you give over, when you hand over the need for the certainty, the need for the clarity, like not even necessarily the clarity, but the need for knowing, you ultimately know. You ultimately put faith in it. It's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful thing how it all really works together. Aquarius. What don't we see coming in? Four of Cups. Four of Cups and Ten of Cups. What we don't see coming in. The Four of Cups is talking about spilt cups. It's talking about opportunities that maybe have been presented to you and you feel like they've been lost. Okay? It can also be talking about holding on. It can be talking about greed too. You know, almost holding your cups too tightly, thinking that if I just hand this over, things are going to spill. Yeah, that's fine. Allow them to spill. Because cups that need to be spilt are not the cups for you. Okay? And that's what this is saying. It's saying you need to have faith. You need to have that faith that spilt cups. Cups that, you know, either you spilt or have been spilt or need to be spilt. You know? They need to go. But it doesn't mean that all will be lost. See here, see this moon? This is spirit. And this is spirit saying, allow these cups to go. Okay? Trust in this cup. Because the Ten of Cups was behind that. That's fulfillment. Again, emotional fulfillment, abundance, emotional abundance here. There is so much fulfillment and happiness here, but you must allow allow yourself to just let it burn out. Let whatever needs to just set fire, be set fire, and embrace what is actually being given to you. Absolutely. It's on the bottom of that, but Five of Swords and then the Six of Pentacles. And the Five of Swords is talking about tensions. Okay? It can be talking about maybe feeling like, you know, maybe there's people who are like, yeah, no, I don't know what you're doing, but it's probably a really bad idea. Or they're whispering some sort of negativity into your life. Maybe they're spewing like toxic shit and they're just like, you know, you're not good enough or you can't do this. And, you know, they're making you feel unworthy. Well, that's toxic bullshit. All right? And the Five of Swords is saying there's no room for that. Okay? The Six of Pentacles was behind that. And that's talking about the energies and the vibrations that we allow into our lives. Because the energy that you know, we allow in our lives, okay, the energies that we continue to kind of produce, you know, it's the law of attraction. You know what? By what you put out, you get back in, right? And it's being cautious of this. Are you putting out negative energies? You know, are the words that you are saying, are you shutting yourself down? Are you selling yourself short because somebody's making you feel like you're not good enough? The Hanged Man was behind that. There needs to be a different kind of, you need to be looking at this from a different perspective here. Change your view on this. Put yourself in that place of suspension. You know, allow yourself just to release the need to have the control. Allow spirit to be the one who has control here. Because the Seven of Wands was behind that. Okay? Let your little light shine. Right? It doesn't, you know, if people are feeding you garbage and people are really like making you feel like whatever your decision is, or as you kind of, you know, rise up and embrace all this, you know, if people are making you feel unworthy here, or like this isn't for you, you need to check that. Okay? You really need to see what is this negative energy? What is it feeding? Right? Because whatever it's feeding, it'll continue to feed and it'll continue to bring back into your life. So until you change the perception of that, until you change the way that you are viewing that, and embrace your light, embrace your truth to it, you'll be stuck. There's the need to let go there. There's a very much a need to change your perception on this whole situation here. From lacking to being fulfilled. Okay? All right, let's get some guidance here. The bottom of the Light Series deck was actually the inner strength, and I didn't point that out earlier, and I did want to point that out. That's talking about the inner lion within your soul. Knowing that the strength is within you. Knowing that whatever you need, just like the phoenix on Pearl, right? All of this change, all of this strength is within you. You are the phoenix rising from the ashes. You are the one who is changing. You are the one who needs to release, you know? Don't try to control things. There is not, you know, that need for certainty needs to be let go. Surrender. Surrender. I just wanted to point that out because I hadn't yet. Okay, good tarot. Guidance. What's your guidance? What's your guidance going forward? Guidance going forward, Spirit. What's your guidance going forward for the Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising? Queen of Air. Again, two of Air. The Queen of Air, again, is that divine feminine side. You know, she's the divine feminine side to you. Wow, Queen of Wands. Okay, wow. Guidance here. King of Pentacles is on the bottom here, with the Empress behind that, which is actually... No, not you guys. Sorry, I just got... But the Empress is talking about the King of Earth here is talking, the King of Pentacles, he's talking about that solid kind of foundation, that movement forward here. Okay, and the Empress behind him, she's talking about that rebirth. You know, the ability to bring life to whatever here it is in her life that she wants to create. Okay, and the World is behind that, Justice behind that. Okay, direction. The Clarity, the Queen of Swords. Queen of Air. Okay, the intuitive clarity. That focus, that ability to knowingly go forward down the path that is going to best serve you. Okay, the Two of Swords is talking about blockages. She's overcoming the blockages. Okay, that direction that you haven't been able to see your way forward. The Queen of Air is overcoming that. Okay, the Queen of Fire behind that, the Queen of Wands. Again, so intuitive. You know, and this is about the clear kind of mind thought, and this is about the clarity and the passion of the spiritual being that you are. She is the queen of that. She is the intuitive master of her spiritual being. The Ace of Air behind that. This idea. It's almost going to be as if Spirit just kind of like gives you this whole brand new, hey, think of it this way. It's like a lightning bolt kind of coming in and giving spark to this a brand new way forward here. A thought process, a change in perception, you know, a knowing, an understanding of this is how I want to go forward. There's a change here and I'm doing it. And the Ace of Cups behind the Ace of Swords. Not only is it the beginning of a whole new kind of thought process, but it's a whole brand new situation, a whole brand new opportunity coming in. A cup, you know, something that is going to fulfill you on emotional levels. And the Five of Wands behind that, the Five of Wands at the end, and that's talking about feeling kind of scattered and all over the place. Okay? But knowing that your pursuit maybe it is on, you know, a kind of like that Ma spirit where it said, you know, keep your mind open for all of the opportunities coming in. Actually, good idea. I'll read that. Right here. I feel kind of like it could be creative brainstorming, unity in diversity, honoring differences. So this Five of Wands is saying, I have the freedom to explore the ideas that seem most far-fetched. What seems crazy today proves tomorrow to be brilliant. Like a child willing to stretch her imagination when a new playmate comes into the garden, I open to new people and new ideas, intrigued by what is novel and unfamiliar. This is a time for what is counterintuitive, for appreciating the ideas from out in left field and what they might offer. That's what I was kind of wondering. You know, it's about spreading that energy far out. Okay, you can't be, if you are so focused here on thinking that you need to know the path, you're missing the bigger picture, Aquarius. You need to open yourself up. You need to allow this like kind of box that you have around you. You need to allow it to burn away, because you need to change here. It's time to rise up from, you know, those patterns of the old. It's time to rise up and embrace this new and go forward with a very much more open kind of mind to it all. The clarity, especially if you're following a love pursuit here. You know, there's so much, you know, these cards are saying there's a lot of hope here. You know, there's a lot of, in whatever you're venturing or whatever you're beginning to start, there is a lot of hope here. Okay, but one must trust. One must like hand over the need to know. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's 4, so I guess I'll read them all. God is in ecstasy, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if God is in ecstasy, I wonder what he sees when he looks at you. You are a great being who has been given a tremendous opportunity to explore beyond yourself. This place of centered awareness is the seat of the witness, the seat of self. That is the only seat from which you can let go. The highest state you have ever experienced is simply the result of how open you were. If you don't close, it can be like that all the time. Wow. There's really this whole evolution within your soul here, Aquarius. I really feel it. And through writing this down, through writing this process out, I think you are going to find not only that kind of stability, but you're also going to really see the changes. See the bumblebee? Please don't sting me. I don't even... Anyway. Bumblebee. Yeah. There's change here. You know? Put in the work. Understand that within you, you know, within your self-change, as you dig deeper into who you are and you really evaluate your change, that's where you bring forward this better side of you into the world. That's where you know, kind of like actually that bumblebee that just flew in there. Bumblebees go and they do their individual work so that they can bring it back and share it with the hive as a whole. And that needs to happen, especially in this relationship, whatever it may be. There needs to be that solid certainty within you so that you know and trust that it will just be what it is. But that work needs to start with you. Rise up. All right, that's it for today. Until next time, Aquarius, take care. Bye now.